Oh, little Jimmy, are you ready to survive in this new up-and-coming horror game called the Callisto Project, or whatever the fuck it's called? Protocol? Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. You got some tasty little buttocks there, Jimmy. Are you ready to survive in this up-and-coming horrific horror game called the Callisto Protocol? I hope you are. Let's go, boys. I'm not crazy. Give up the information on the Callisto Protocol, you little pig. I know you've got it. I'll take it from you. Mamma mia! I got the information on the Callisto Protocol. Let's get into it, boys. Let's dissect this juicy morsel and dive into my review of the Callisto Protocol. How's it going? Welcome back, my beautiful sinners, to another great video here on the majestic, the wonderful, the Savior Show. If you're new to the channel, which is highly likely, go down below and subscribe. Join this fantastic, and I mean fantastic, community. Today, boys, you don't want to miss out on this, trust me. Become a disciple of the community. Join the Savior community. Today, it's very easy. All you have to do is hit that red button and press subscribe, okay? This is a growing and awesome channel. And yeah, I just love everyone here. If you've clicked on this video, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. And if you want to support me as a creator, check out the music that I make on Spotify. I make electronic synth music, and it's very different, it's very unique. I'm sure you will like it. And if you enjoy game reviews, retrospective, analytical game content, new up-and-coming reviews, and philosophical videos, we also expose the establishment and the BS dystopia. The Callisto Protocol game review is now here. I still have certain limitations, so I can't discuss everything in this review of the Callisto Protocol. I can tell you about the game if I'm careful and I don't say certain things, and I only show you early gameplay. So this is based off of the preview version of the game, but I have played it, and this is my review of the Callisto Protocol. I hope you enjoy. It's important to get this stuff out because people need to understand that game developers these days aren't completely trustworthy, okay? The gaming industry has become slightly corrupt, a lot of people are paid off, and especially when a day one game has an embargo on the day it releases, that usually is a sign of something fishy going on. However, I'm going to give you the positives and the negatives of the Callisto Protocol. No BS here, I'm not holding back. So this is my honest review of the Callisto Protocol, and I hope you enjoy. So let's dive into the Callisto Protocol game review. Now, like I said before, I do have to clarify, this is based on the preview version of the game. I'm only showing early gameplay. I have to say I am a little bit concerned because the developers of the Callisto Protocol have only got a strict embargo on this, so I have to be careful what I show, what I say. So I'm only talking about the preview build, okay, and information that I can give. However, I have to say it's scummy and disgusting that what I've seen so far, and not many channels are talking about this, the developers of this game are already copywriting and blocking footage of the game, which is a little bit suspect, and I have my reasons as to why that might be. So like I said, I'm going to give you the honest opinion, the positives and the negatives, so you can make your own decision. But please never pre-order games nowadays, because you just can't trust the gaming industry like it used to be. You know, lots of developers just lie about the games, and the Callisto Protocol has a massive marketing campaign behind it. You know, there's videos, there's YouTube videos of the director, and of course everyone's excited because, you know, this person made Dead Space. This is the same director who made Dead Space. But just remember, the same people who made The Witcher and great RPGs before CD Projekt Red, they also released Cyberpunk in that state. So just never pre-order games, okay? Because it's about money these days, okay? It's not about creative integrity and, you know, making something of pure art. Sometimes that can be the case because they have to follow a little gaming checklist to sell as much as possible. so just be warned. And what sets this apart from Dead Space is this is more dark sci-fi, a more hard sci-fi. In some ways, people are correct in thinking this is just another Dead Space, and I think that's why some people are unsure about it, and a lot of people are hyped about it. But remember, don't get hyped anymore. It's a sad thing to say, but it's true. You know, the industry, like I said, is paid off. A lot of gaming outlets are completely paid off. A lot of reviewers are completely paid off. And it's all about marketing. It's all about false gameplay these days. So you just have to be careful and wait until the product is out before you actually make a purchase. That's why I think pre-orders are stupid, because it just lowers the standards of the gaming industry, and it just tells the people, the big studios and the big companies, corporations, it doesn't matter if it's gaming, it just says to massive scum corporations that the consumers are happy just to throw away their money at an idea, at something that isn't even tangible or something that doesn't even exist as of yet, and that they have absolute faith in these studios and companies. And of course, now it's being abused. So that's just my opinion. The Callisto Protocol is set apart from Dead Space because of its cast of characters. We have Karen Fukuhara, if I'm pronouncing her name correct, Fukuhara, I'm not sure, but she was the actress in The Boys, which is a great TV show. She's a great actress. The main character in this game, he's also pretty good, a little bit generic. And basically the enemies this time around are an alien infestation that takes over the human body called the biophage. And pretty much they're zombies. Yeah, you want to play another zombie game? The Callisto Protocol has also been banned in Japan because of how gory and, I wouldn't say that scary, but it's very gory and Japan has banned it. So what is good about this game? Well, the first positive is the hand-to-hand combat. Okay, that is awesome. Now you can actually upgrade your melee weapon. You know, it's much more focused on the melee combat, and it's got a system in place where you actually dodge attacks, and if you dodge correctly, you actually get rewarded. Okay, so you get rewarded for your skill. If you pull off a great timed dodge, you will actually get a boost in your weapon power for the first few shots, and actually you will slow down time a little bit, so it will give you more time to react. So it's all about reaction time. I guess it's just like Dark Souls, huh? The Callisto Protocol is a new Soulsborne-like game, and it pays homage to Dark Souls.
If you just play games to be entertained, then Dark Souls isn't for you.
The superb combat and gripping exploration make it a modern classic, destined to be loved and talked about by anyone that has the pleasure of unraveling its mysteries.
And I do like this game, don't get me wrong. I'm just a little bit concerned about the development team behind it, the industry as it stands at the moment, and how generic it is. Because this game, boy, is it generic, okay? It's good, don't get me wrong. This is good, and if you love Dead Space and you want more Dead Space, this will please you no end, because it's an updated Dead Space. Even though we're getting Dead Space the remake soon, this is a new story and it's in a new universe, even though it basically is in the same universe. It could be, because the negative of this game is the aesthetic, okay? It's so familiar, it's overly familiar, and it's just too similar to Dead Space, in my opinion. The health hologram that you have on your back, to the enemy design, to the locations, and that's the big thing, is this is a game focused around, you know, survival horror, and it's full of dread and atmosphere, and it's got that stuff absolutely done perfectly, okay? The ambient noises that you hear, the soundtrack, the thick atmosphere, and the character that you embody, the weight of him, the movement of your weapons, everything like that, you know, is great for a survival horror type game. But the enemies are just generic, mutated humanoids, okay? That's all that we ever get. I don't know why we can't be more creative, why we can't have something that we haven't seen before, a weird monster. It doesn't always have to be a humanoid monster, and they are just so similar to Dead Space. And the problem is, even Dead Space was more scary because of how you had to dismember them from far away and they would slowly crawl towards you. This is all about melee combat, which is fun and engaging, but the problem is, you know, you get to see them right up in your face, okay? It's like The Last of Us in some ways. The combat reminds me of The Last of Us, which isn't a game known for amazing combat. The combat here is good, but it's not like, you know, it's not Dark Souls, for example. It's not something that is that in depth. And what makes a good survival horror type game is the resource management, the ambience, the world building, and it has all of that in, you know, spades of absolute gold, okay? It's a great game, don't get me wrong. I just wish the enemy designs were different, to be honest, because you get up close to them, and after a while you just get numb to them. They don't feel scary anymore. They are just generic zombies when you're facing them one-on-one. Think about how iconic the design of Alien is. You know, a lot of people didn't like Scorn because it was too slow paced and it felt more like a puzzle game, not like a survival horror type game. You can't deny that the art style in that game is just way beyond what's going on here in the Callisto Protocol. And I did say in this the Callisto Protocol game review that I was going to be absolutely honest with you, and that's just my impressions so far. You know, you might like this type of hard sci-fi and this type of enemy design, but to me, I've seen it before. It's been done to death and it's not scary anymore in my opinion. You know, think of something like Prey, the unique enemy designs of the mimics and all that kind of stuff. It's not too difficult to ask for something more unique in my opinion. So another plus of this game is the tone. It's very cinematic, it has a lot of tension and a lot of jump scares in it, and sometimes it even fakes you out, you know, and you think a jump scare is coming. It builds up this crescendo of, you know, pure dread and terror, and then nothing comes. You know, stuff like that is what makes this game good, and it does the horror aspects better than Dead Space. If this came before Dead Space, then this would be absolutely incredible, but it just feels overly familiar to me with Dead Space, but it is still good. Just think of this as a new Dead Space because let's be honest, Dead Space fell off quite big time. You know, it had a drinking problem and it fell off. Also, something that I have to say that I love about this game is the attention to detail. The lighting here is amazing. You know, usually developers don't care that much about that kind of stuff. You know, we only see a few developers who truly understand the art of lighting, like From Software with Dark Souls 2 and Doom 3. You know, this has great quality lighting. Having good quality lighting plays a massive deal when it comes to building atmosphere, and the director of the Callisto Protocol made sure that that was a top priority. Another big bonus of this game is the fact that the Callisto Protocol is difficult, okay? It's pretty difficult, it's pretty challenging, and already we have IGN comparing it to Dark Souls. It's hilarious. But yeah, it's difficult, but it's not that difficult, okay? And another negative I have to say is I wish they added a first-person mode. I understand, I don't have a problem with third-person type games. In fact, I love them. I'm a huge fan of them. You know, of course, Dark Souls being my favorite. Did I say I love Dark Souls? Sorry. Yeah, I just feel like in a horror type game, a first-person camera option like they do with Resident Evil is absolutely essential, because that just makes it feel so much more, you know, personal and claustrophobic, and it would just do a lot better in my opinion, and that would set it apart from Dead Space as well if they just made this a first-person game. But no, it's not, okay? And another plus is the story is good. What's good here is the writing, the audio logs that you pick up. It's absolutely horrible, the stuff that you listen to. It reminds me of the audio logs in Fallout 3. And yeah, it's good quality stuff. Like I said, the cast of characters here are good, but there's not too much interaction that it loses the sense of tension. But the big problem, and this is another negative, is the main character is so boring and generic, and he's like the generic army dude, you know, Chadwick come to life, and it's just boring. And sadly, this does the same thing as many modern day games do nowadays, where it makes the character talk to himself. And for me, that just takes me out of the game. It just kills my immersion, and it doesn't allow me to think for myself. You know, he mumbles to himself what he has to do next, where you need to go, and it just feels like instead of being immersive, it's the game telling you that, listen baby boy, you can't play games anymore, this is the modern day gaming industry, we have to tell you where to go, what to do. So I don't like that, and I would recommend it, especially if you love Dead Space. But don't rush out and get this, don't buy into the hype that this is the best thing ever. This is a good game, yes, you're gonna have fun, but it's not like a game changer, okay? So that's my review of the Callisto Protocol. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, support me by checking out my music. Consider a small donation on PayPal or something, that would mean so much to me, you have no idea. Support this smaller channel and help us grow by subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.